Okay, this is a blower door setup. We use this for testing for air infiltration in the house. We do this before we improve the house, and it's a great idea to do it afterwards so we can see what we've improved. Blower doors measure air infiltration or air leakage, and air loss in a house is directly related to heating and cooling costs. We have a blower fan here, which is a calibrated fan for airflow. We also have a calibrated digital pressure gauge to tell us what the actual flow rate is. There's a test pressure we set the instrument at, and again we have an infrared camera here which we'll also use to take a look at where the air leakage might be coming in. This particular house is a very old home, but there's been some improvements made, and we want to see where the insulation levels and where the thermal qualities are at of the stuff that was retrofitted. So we start our fan. And as you can see, it is drawing air out of the house. And the gauge, we're going for a target pressure here, but this is the number that we're very interested in. This tells us what the air leakage of the house is in cubic feet per minute, but it also tells us how big the hole is in the house. So right now, we're looking at a hole that's approximately 380 square inches. It is lower than what we started at. This particular house had a number of about 4,500 cubic feet of air going through it. So this is our final blower door number. Again, we have about 373 square inches of hole in the whole house. We started out with around 4,500, so we're down about 20% in the retrofit. So we did air seal the house. It'll make a difference in their comfort level around the house and their heating and cooling bills. We're putting a pressure hose in each room to see what the pressure effect is with our bathroom fans on or any exhaust fans in the house. This is also part of the audit when we're doing a combustion test on a boiler, a furnace, or a hot water heater that vent into a chimney. It's important to establish the pressures of these rooms in relation to the basement. We're measuring pressures again in each room as we work our way to the basement. And it tells us what the pressure difference is from room to room within the house. We're testing a bathroom fan for proper ventilation with our flow hood. And you can see we're at about 37 cubic feet per minute. That's a good flow rate for this small room. We're going to test the second bathroom for exhaust flow out of the bathroom. And again, we're using a calibrated flow hood device to measure cubic feet of air. Right now we have a 29 cubic feet of air measurement on this bathroom fan. And here we're testing a new fan that was installed as part of the energy retrofit on this house. It's an Energy Star rated fan. It's very quiet, efficient, and it has quite a bit of air volume compared to the other two fans, which are original to the house or quite old. And we're measuring 75 cubic feet of air, 76 cubic feet of air. This is very good ventilation for a bathroom this size. This bathroom is probably used the most, so it's important to get moisture out of it. This is the fourth bathroom in this particular house, and it has a new Energy Star fan installed. Let's see how it's ventilating. And this one is also doing quite good. Again, it's measuring about 74 cubic feet of air per minute, 75, and that's very good for a bathroom like this that gets a lot of high use. Again, get the moisture out of the bathroom. We use the bathroom. Basement crawl space. As you can see, this is some foil-faced foam sheeting board that was put in to insulate the crawl space wall. Helps reduce heat loss. Also, if you look up in here, you can see expanding spray foam that was used to seal the sill box. That air seals the house and also insulate this area of the home. And this was done for the entire home perimeter. You can see where there's a small cavity there, but the larger cavities are all filled. And they're filled with fairly adequate foam to the point where it's out. They've also sealed the foam sheeting to the wall to prevent air leakage from the old addition and the new part of the home. This house was added on several times, so it helps again air seal this kind of junction and remodeling in an older home. A lot of heat loss from going up into our attic, so let's take a look at how it was installed and what's up in our attic. We're in the attic, and I want to point a few things out. This house had insulation put in the attic floor. It's a cellulose insulation. You can see it's been dense packed underneath the floor. Also, insulation was added where the slanted ceilings are and where the rest of the flat ceiling is, where there's no wood floor. We have this material up to put insulation and hold it in place. That's a very good retrofit item. And over here you can see where we've insulated the ducts that go and exhaust through the roof. Those connect directly to the bath fans that we tested below. And again, they've done a very good job of retrofitting this attic space. This is where spray foam was used to conceal a window that isn't being used anymore. This window was framed in, plated over, and then the spray foam was applied to reduce heat loss and air seal the window area. It's also done on this area here too. In returning to this house after the improvements were made, you notice that a power vented type water heater was installed. This type of water heater has a low temperature exhaust. Instead of venting out the flue where it used to vent, it vents out with white PVC pipe, and this takes out combustion gases out of the house without them relying on a chimney. You can still see though, we have the boiler hooked up to our chimney, and again we'll do a combustion test on that a little bit later. The main thing about these types of water heaters is they are more energy efficient, and they take the combustion gases out of the house. It's important when we tighten the house up to be sure that these appliances are working right. And we'll check the carbon monoxide level on that on the outside a little bit later. Now we're set up to do a combustion safety test on this boiler. And the boiler vents into a chimney. So over here you can see where we've got a probe put into the vent pipe to measure draft pressure. And we have a hose to the outside which calibrates our pressure to the house. So right now we're going to note some readings here, and then we're going to close and open doors and just see how this boiler works and how it drafts after we do that during our test. Okay, this is a time test for draft pressure. This is the draft pressure here that we're measuring that's going up the stack right now. And we have a 1 minute time test from the time this starts. So we'll see what our draft pressure is like in 1 minute. Our boiler has a minus draft pressure of 5.4, which means air is properly drafting up from the flue. And it is also, there's enough air in the house to make it draft up the flue, and it passes our limit. It's well within the draft test for a single boiler into a chimney in our testing standards. This is the combustion safety test for the hot water heater that was replaced. It's a more energy efficient power vent type. We're checking the carbon monoxide level with our tester here. And we have a very safe level, and it passes our test on our post-inspection. This is a thermal scan of this outside wall and new windows that were put in this old house. We've done a very good job. You can see our reflection in the window, and there's no air leakage around the trim, and it's a very good installation. Also looking at the attic's you can see where we had insulated, there's an even thermal value across our ceiling plane. This other window was replaced. This is a triple double hung window assembly, and as you can see, it's a very good insulation on the exterior walls. The installation is good. There's no cold air coming in around the window frame, and it's done very properly. Again, we look at our attic ceiling, and our ceiling shows very even thermal value across the ceiling, so it was insulated very well. And this is one of our quality checks when we come back to post-test a house, but also by looking at an existing home. When we first come in and evaluate the house, we'll look at all these constructions.